Welcome back, let's change your life. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Jefferson nickel value coins. These coins aren't just pocket change, they carry iconic designs, hidden stories, and sometimes hidden treasures. We'll explore the top 3 most valuable and expensive Jefferson nickels in the United States. 1983 D. 1995 P. 2002 P. These coins, featuring the famous Monticello reverse design, are usually made of copper nickel. Even in dirty, worn, or heavily circulated condition, seemingly ordinary nickels like these could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars today. So before you spend that old nickel, stick around, you might be holding a fortune in your hands. First up, coin number 1. Welcome back. Because today's story is not just about a coin. It's about possibility. It's about luck. And it's about how something small, something ignored, something spent without a second thought, could change a life forever. Today, we're talking about the 1983 D Jefferson nickel. A coin you've seen before. A coin you may have held hundreds of times. Dirty. Worn. Heavily circulated. Ordinary to almost everyone. But hidden beneath that worn surface is a story powerful enough to turn a few cents into unimaginable wealth. This nickel was struck in Denver, marked with a small D that most people never notice. That tiny letter matters. Because Denver coins carry their own personality, their own history, their own quirks. Millions were made, yes. But not all coins are born equal. And not all coins survive the same way. This coin has lived a life. It has moved through hands, pockets, counters, registers. It has been dropped. Scratched. Forgotten. It has witnessed decades of everyday America. And still, it survives. Made from a copper-nickel alloy, the 1983 D Jefferson nickel was never meant to be special. It was meant to work. To move. To disappear into circulation. And that is exactly what makes it dangerous to ignore. Because history has shown us something again and again. The most powerful treasures often look the most ordinary. On the back, the Monticello design sits quietly. Calm. Balanced. Almost invisible under years of wear. But Monticello is more than architecture. It's a symbol. A reminder that strength doesn't need to shout. That endurance doesn't need to shine. That value doesn't always sparkle. Now here's where everything changes. Because collectors don't just look at age. They don't just look at metal. They look for difference. The 1983 D Jefferson nickel is known for unusual strikes, subtle minting variations, and rare production moments that escaped attention when they were made. Tiny differences in pressure. Alignment. Texture. Details so small they escape the average eye, but scream value to a trained one. And when one of those rare examples appears, the market wakes up. Collectors lean in. Prices climb fast. Some of these nickels have shocked the coin world. Not because they were shiny. Not because they were perfect. But because they were right. Right strike. Right variation. Right moment. Coins that once lived quietly in circulation suddenly commanded prices that felt unreal. Hundreds of thousands. Even numbers that brush against the edge of millions. Imagine that. A nickel. 5 cents. Changing everything overnight. Hold that thought. Because this is where most people fail. They assume value must look valuable. They assume dirt destroys worth. They assume war means loss. But the truth is different. Some of the most valuable Jefferson nickels are worn. Scratched. Dull. Used. Because those marks are proof. Proof of survival. Proof that the coin lived through decades untouched by collectors, unnoticed, unprotected. That authenticity carries weight. That story carries power. Now imagine this coin in your hand. To most people, it's nothing. To the right person, it's everything. It's a vault without a lock. A lottery ticket without a drawing. A future hiding in plain sight. Most nickels end their lives quietly. Vending machines. Parking meters. Couch cushions. Gone forever. But the few that are noticed. The few that are examined. The few that are understood. Those coins don't disappear. They transform. Owning a 1983 P Jefferson nickel like this isn't about metal. It's about timing. It's about knowledge. It's about seeing what others miss. Because once a collector identifies something special, the race begins. Phones ring. Auctions heat up. Bids climb. And suddenly, a coin that once bought nothing becomes something people fight over. That's the reality of this market. That's the power of rarity. And that's why you never spend a coin like this without looking twice. Because fortune doesn't announce itself. It whispers. It hides in drawers. In jars. In old rolls. In forgotten collections. The 1983 P Jefferson nickel is not a myth. It is not fantasy. It is not hype. It is a reminder. A reminder that opportunity doesn't always come wrapped in gold. Sometimes it comes scratched. Sometimes it comes dirty. Sometimes it comes worth 5 cents, until it isn't. So the next time a nickel passes through your hands, pause. Look closer. Feel its weight. Check its details. Because that small, silent coin might be more than change. It might be history. It might be power. It might be a future rewritten in metal. The 1983 P Jefferson nickel. Ordinary to the world. Extraordinary to those who know. And if you find one, remember this. The smallest things can carry the biggest destinies. Welcome back. Because today's story is not about spare change. It's about hidden power. It's about overlooked fortune. And it's about how a single, forgotten coin could change a life overnight. Today, we are diving deep into the story of the 1995 P Jefferson nickel. A coin most people have touched. A coin most people have spent. A coin that looks ordinary, worn, scratched, even dirty. And yet, beneath that surface lies a story that has stunned collectors and shaken the coin world. This nickel carries the P Mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. A mint with deep roots in American history. A mint known for precision, but also known for moments where tiny differences slipped through unnoticed. And in the world of coins, those tiny differences can mean everything. The 1995 Jefferson nickel was never meant to be special. It was made to move fast. To circulate. To disappear into everyday life. Millions were produced. They flowed through stores, banks, wallets, and pockets. Most were spent without a second thought. But a small number followed a different path. This coin has lived a hard life. Heavy circulation. Worn edges. Faded details. Scratches earned through decades of use. And that is exactly why it matters. Because collectors don't always chase perfection. They chase stories. They chase survivors. They chase coins that escaped attention long enough to become rare in the most unexpected way. The copper-nickel composition may look simple, but it holds decades of history. Every mark tells you where it's been. Every worn detail proves it survived. And sometimes, those survivors carry minting quirks so subtle they were invisible for years. This is where the 1995 P Jefferson nickel becomes dangerous to ignore. Because it isn't just about the year. It isn't just about the mint mark. It's about the unexpected. Collectors search for unusual strikes. Slight differences in pressure. Details that don't quite match the norm. Coins that came from specific production moments and slipped into circulation unnoticed. When one of those coins resurfaces, the market reacts fast. Prices rise. Bidding wars begin. And suddenly, a coin once worth 5 cents becomes something people fight for. Some examples from this era have shocked the collecting world. Not because they looked beautiful, but because they were rare in the right way. The kind of rarity you don't see until you know exactly what to look for. Imagine holding one in your hand. To most people, it's nothing. To the right collector, it's a vault. A vault without a key. A future without warning. Most people toss nickels into jars. Spend them at counters. Lose them under furniture. And that's how fortunes disappear without anyone noticing. But sometimes, one coin escapes that fate. Sometimes, it waits. The Monticello design on the reverse sits quietly, almost faded from years of use. But it stands for something deeper. Endurance. Patience. Strength without noise. It reminds us that value does not always announce itself. Over the years, collectors have learned a powerful lesson. Some of the most valuable Jefferson nickels are not shiny. They are not perfect. They are worn. They are used. They are real. And that authenticity carries weight. That dirt doesn't erase value. That wear doesn't destroy worth. Sometimes, it confirms it. Owning a rare 1995 P Jefferson nickel isn't about luck alone. It's about awareness. It's about knowing when to stop and look closer. When to question what others ignore. Because when the right coin appears, the results can be life-changing. Numbers rise fast. Values climb. And suddenly, something small becomes something unstoppable. That's why you never rush to spend a coin like this. That's why you never assume 5 cents is just 5 cents. Because fortune doesn't knock loudly. It hides. It waits in drawers. In rolls. In old collections. The 1995 P Jefferson nickel is a reminder that wealth doesn't always shine. Sometimes, it whispers. Sometimes, it wears a disguise. Sometimes, it looks like nothing at all. So the next time a nickel rests in your palm, pause. Feel it. Study it. Because that small, silent coin could be more than change. It could be history. It could be power. It could be a future rewritten. The 1995 P Jefferson nickel. Ignored by many. Understood by few. And for the person who truly recognizes it, it has the power to change everything. Welcome back. Because today's story is not about money. It's about timing. It's about awareness. And it's about how a coin you may have ignored for years could still change your life overnight. Today, we step into the story of the 2002 P Jefferson nickel. A coin that feels modern. A coin that looks familiar. A coin that many people believe is too new to matter. And that belief is exactly why this nickel is so dangerous to overlook. This coin was struck in Philadelphia, marked with a small p that most people never check. It entered circulation quietly. No excitement. No headlines. Just another nickel mixed into everyday life. And that's how history sometimes hides its greatest surprises. Millions of these coins were released into circulation. They moved fast. From banks to stores. From pockets to registers. From hands to jars. They were spent without thought. Forgotten without regret. And yet, among those millions, a small number followed a very different path. This nickel has lived a real life. Worn edges. Faded details. Scratches earned through time. Dirt pressed into its surface by decades of use. And that wear tells a story. Because collectors don't just chase age. They chase moments. They chase coins born during unusual production periods. Coins that slipped through with tiny differences. Coins that survived long enough to become rare in ways nobody expected. The copper-nickel composition of the 2002 P Jefferson nickel looks simple. Almost boring. But inside that metal is the imprint of a turning point in modern coin history. A time when production pressures, speed, and volume created subtle variations that escaped notice. Those variations are quiet. They don't scream. They whisper. And when the right one appears, everything changes. Collectors study details most people never see: alignment, texture, depth, balance. Small differences that separate common coins from extraordinary ones. When a rare 2002 P Jefferson Nickels surfaces, the reaction is immediate. Interest rises. Phones ring. Bids climb. And suddenly, a coin worth 5 cents becomes something people fight over. Not because it shines. Not because it's perfect. But because it's right. This is the part most people don't understand. Some of the most valuable Jefferson Nickels are heavily circulated. They've been used. They've been worn. They've survived. And that survival makes them special. That dirt doesn't destroy value. That wear doesn't erase worth. Sometimes, it proves authenticity. The Monticello design on the reverse sits quietly, often softened by years of circulation. But it stands as a symbol of endurance. Of patience. Of strength that doesn't demand attention. It reminds us that importance doesn't always announce itself loudly. Now imagine this coin in your hand. To most people, it's nothing. To the right collector, it's a vault. A vault hidden in plain sight. A future disguised as spare change. Most 2002 nickels were spent and forgotten. Lost to vending machines. Parking meters. Couch cushions. But a few escaped that fate. A few waited. And those are the ones that rewrite lives. When the right example appears on the market, the effect is electric. Prices rise faster than anyone expects. Numbers reach levels that feel unreal. And suddenly, a coin from the early 2000s stands shoulder to shoulder with legends. That's the power of rarity mixed with ignorance. That's the power of overlooked history. Owning a rare 2002 P Jefferson nickel isn't about luck alone. It's about knowing when to stop. When to look. When not to spend. Because once a coin like this is gone, it's gone forever. This is why collectors say fortune favors the observant. Not the rich. Not the fast. The observant. Because wealth doesn't always come wrapped in gold. Sometimes, it comes scratched. Sometimes, it comes dirty. Sometimes, it comes worth 5 cents, until it isn't. The 2002 P Jefferson nickel is proof that modern coins can still carry ancient power. That value doesn't depend on age alone. That opportunity doesn't follow rules. So the next time a nickel rests in your palm, pause. Look closer. Feel its weight. Because that small, quiet coin could be more than change. It could be history. It could be power. It could be the moment everything changes. The 2002 P Jefferson nickel. Common to many. Rare to those who know. And if you ever find one that feels different, remember this. Fortune doesn't shout. It waits.